Other people's energy can affect your mental health. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like depending on who I surround myself with, my mood and my outlook on life even can be different. Here's the thing. I got a really good friend that I've grown up with. I've known this guy since we were kids, literally since we were kids. Great guy. Really love him as a friend, like a brother to me, but I'll tell you what, every single time I talk to him or we interact at all, hours, sometimes days, and sometimes even weeks after we talk, I get like anxiety and panic attack symptoms, like shortness of breath and just feeling like something's wrong and doom and gloom. And without fail, every single time I hear from him. And he's a great guy. I do not understand what causes it. I have no idea. But there is an underlying darkness and depression with him that's always been there. I do know that. And I'm wondering if I can just sense it. Like maybe I'm just really sensitive to that stuff on people, but it's something that's out of my control as far as I know, and it's something that I can't quite wrap my head around. But as I pay attention to it with other people, I feel it as well. Like this specific friend just reached out to me again. We hadn't talked in like probably close to a year. It hasn't been that long, probably been about 6 or 7 months actually. And we talked on the phone. Great conversation. Lots of laughter and this and that. And now I find myself like the couple days after that, I was feeling a little bit depressed and negative. And now we're about a week later, and I was like, woke up this morning again, like having weird panic attack symptoms. And just feeling off and feeling negative and feeling depressed and thinking negative. And again, I have no proof that it was talking to this old friend, but without fail, every time I talk to him, this shit happens. And I don't understand what that is, but for me personally, I don't know if you guys experience this. For me personally, the people I surround myself with matters a lot. The things I ingest in my mind, what I watch, what I see, what I listen to, affects me a lot. I think it affects everybody a lot more than we know. That's why social media, another problem with that too, you got to be careful what you're watching all the time and ingesting. It's like McDonald's, McDonald's tastes good going down, but it's not good for you. Same thing with all the filth that you're watching and negativity that you're watching and doom and gloom and the sky is falling, and you watch enough of that stuff, man, it's poisoning you. It affects the way you think. It affects your outlook on life, whether you know it or you recognize it or not. That's why I tell people, this sounds kind of silly to some of my friends, but I'm like, in the evenings, I try to just like watch Bob Ross painting or something innocent, something without drama or conflict or controversy. I try to find stuff that's easy on the soul and relaxing and healthy on the soul. Because make no mistake, the world we live in today, it's fast paced. The content you're seeing is a lot of times, I'm not going to say out of your control, because it's in your control what you see. But if you're on any social media platform, you're being force fed a lot of filth, a lot of negativity, a lot of fear and anger and doom and gloom and all of it. You're being fed that. So you got to monitor what you're seeing and who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if you find yourself associating with people that bring you down, you can't ignore that. And like I said, this friend of mine, we go way back. I love him to death like a brother. But I don't know at this point what I'm going to do, because I really don't want, I'm not going to say I don't want to hear from him anymore, but I every time I hear from him, it's like a dark cloud follows. And I used to think it was it's all in my head, but this has gone on for like 10 years. Every time I hear from him, I feel like my outlook has changed. I feel like bad stuff starts happening. And I don't know if people can actually carry that kind of negative energy with them or on them. But it sure feels like that with him. And like, what do? Do I just cut him off? Do I recognize it and try to catch it before it happens? Although I don't know how I would do that with like these weird depression and anxiety and panic attack symptoms that come on every time I talk to him. I think that he's just maybe got some real dark stuff going on in his life or in his mind that he's not talking about, because he gives off that kind of vibe, you know? He gives off that vibe of there's some dark stuff going on that he's not talking about. And I don't know if it's stuff going on to him or maybe something really bad he's doing. Maybe he's just doing some really bad stuff that my subconscious mind like is catching, like his vibes and his energy, not to sound like a hippie, the hippie shit, but there's some truth to it, man. There's a lot more to life than we see with our eyes, right? There's a lot more going on than we know about, that we can really understand. Like your subconscious mind picks stuff up that your analytical part of your brain might not quite understand, whether you want to realize that or not. Like you all know you've met people where you're like, there's something off about this person. The facts and figures and the analytics can look great on paper. This is a great person. But your gut tells you, something's not right. Something's off with this person. That's exactly what that is. That's that hippie shit, man. That subconscious part of your brain. The vibes and the energy and the chemistry. And on the flip of that, you can meet people that are down and out on the street, that are like making bad decisions on paper. They're like not a good decision maker, not in a good place in their life. And you might have an interaction with them and think, this is a pretty good soul. Like this person's energy is really nice, you know? And again, some people are just good at deceiving and others can be deceived easier. But there's some good people out there that on paper you think, wow, this person's had a rough life, or maybe they're not trustworthy. So the analytical part of your brain that's looking at facts and figures and what's in front of you and analyzing it, that's one thing. But there is some truth to like the vibes and chemistry of the hippie shit. There's some truth to that. I don't understand it that well, but I'll tell you this much. The older I get especially, the more people's energy affects me. Like even at the gym, I'll use the gym as an example again because I go to the gym often, right? There's a couple people at the gym that want to talk to me all the time. Great guys, I've known them for years. Like they've been like a friendly acquaintance at the gym for years. But their energy is just so negative. When I see them and when I interact with them, it's nothing but negativity. And it rubs off on me bad. And my subconscious brain, like my soul is like, get the hell away from this guy. Get away from him. And on the flip side, there's some people that I've met at the gym that I talk to, and it's like, I'm in a really good mood after I talk to them. We can talk about something negative with like a funny comedic spin on it. And you walk away going, that made me feel good. I like that person's energy. Like they filled me up a little bit. They filled my joy and my soul. They filled my heart up a little bit with happiness. I needed that. I needed a little refresher, a little top off of my gas tank of my joy, you know? I hope that makes sense, you guys. I'm rambling at this point, but I was just thinking about that because I woke up this morning feeling a little bit of like anxiety and panic attack symptoms, and I'm like, man, it's because I talked to so-and-so on the phone the other day. That's the only thing I can think of. Every time I talk to him, this happens. Let me know what you guys think. Am I crazy? Is there any truth to this? Do you guys understand it better than me? If so, let me know what you think. Until next time, God bless.